Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I just needed a clarification from the Cabinet Secretary on the process of the land acquisition. Because I heard the Cabinet Secretary stating that they're having a dispute with the identified landowners. Could you walk us through the process of acquisition, compulsory acquisition? Because it appears that all the list, based on your response, it appears that the list of the people who the land was acquired to them, the government did not submit to them an expression of interest to acquire the land, as well as the valuation of that land. Because the law spells out the process, which is identification, valuation, expression of interest, and then once the land has been earmarked for compulsory acquisition, then there's a time period where the owner of the land can be compensated. So it appears that with that dispute, although the law allows for that process of dispute negotiation, it appears there's somewhere where you miss. That's why all the 2,700, is it 2,700 list of people? You have not been able to settle that. So could you walk us through? Is it that you did not express an interest to all of them, or you just assume that all of them would be happy with you acquiring the land? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Omtata.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My supplementary question is based on the list that has been provided. Does the ministry have an estimated cost of what is outstanding in the overdue compensation for the affected individuals, and whether there is a budget allocation for the same? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Seki.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I also wanted to know from the Cabinet Secretary, there was an allocation on the last financial year on the issue of irrigation at Magadi, Gurman area, and I wanted to know the status.
Honorable Senator, that does not qualify to be a supplementary question. It's a different question altogether. It does not flow from the primary question.
Honorable Speaker, maybe the CS might be able to answer this question.
No, whether he's in a position or not, it's not a supplementary question. Okay. A supplementary question must flow from the primary question. Senator Mungatana.
So, Speaker, thank you for giving me the floor. I just wanted the Cabinet Secretary to clarify one issue flowing from his statement and answer to this question. Does the government have a different policy approach towards compensation for Tana River County as opposed to other counties? And I'm speaking specifically, Minister, to the Tana and Athi River Development Irrigation Project, where the government came and took even ancestral lands, and to date, the people have never been compensated. On this other part, we are hearing there's compensation. On this other part, we are hearing there's no compensation. Even when the head of state himself came and said it must be done, to date, the people have not been compensated. So I wanted to know, or even subdivision of that land, so that the land that doesn't belong to the people can do the irrigation, and the land that belongs to the people can be given to them. So clarify to us, does the government in which you are serving have a different policy for our area as opposed to other parts of the country, or is it the normal suppressing of areas that are far from the cities that has been the colonial policy since independence? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Onyonka.
Thank you, sir. I'm happy to have this opportunity to ask this question. On several occasions, Mr. Speaker, in this House, we have actually raised issues about people who have never been compensated for their land, which was utilized by either Kera, Kenha, or including SGR. And some of these people, Speaker, have never been compensated for the last 10 years. In fact, some of the parents have died. Like I presented a case of a family of Amze who died, and he has left 9 family members who are completely distraught. Can we be informed whether there is a likelihood that this matter can actually be sorted out once and for all? Because these are some of the issues which we keep on postponing, and it's creating a lot of distraught amongst various people, stakeholders, and communities in the Republic. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable CS, you may now proceed to respond.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. And thank you, Honorable Members, for follow-up questions. On questions that are not part of this, the question that we had prepared on, Honorable Speaker, I would request to be given more time so that I give a comprehensive list and comprehensive, well-thought answers to the honorable members and the country at large. There was a question, however, there was a question on when we would need the indulgence of the honorable member for Migori. The indulgence we need is indulgence, especially on settling these issues, court cases out of court, at all times, especially after payment. Because upon verification, land disputes always arise, and the grievance redress mechanism that we have put in place cannot work in isolation without the indulgence of the leadership of the area. And the senator is a key leader in the county, and therefore we would seek his indulgence in the process. There was a question by Honorable Ledama on the process of land acquisition. Honorable Speaker, the process of land acquisition starts by the preparation of a RAP, that is the Resettlement Action Plan. And once the ministry prepares that, we forward the RAP report to the National Land Commission that further takes that forward by identifying the pieces of land, doing valuation, and then they give time to do to address the grievances, and then there is an award, and then even payment is made by the National Land Commission. I think that is the standard practice in the country right now, more so in the ministry. That is the way we do it. Because after the change, the inauguration of the new constitution, the ministry stopped doing the process itself. It became the mandate of the National Land Commission, and we always engage them in case of land disputes. There was a cost on what is the outstanding amount to be paid to the PAPs in Lower Kuji irrigation scheme. The outstanding balance is 128 million Kenya shillings. And we have clearly highlighted the process on how we plan to acquire that. There was a question by Honorable Mugatana on the Tana and Other Development Agency, where there are irrigation schemes being carried out by TARDA. TARDA, Honorable Speaker, to the Honorable Senator, is under the Ministry of Asals. It is not under the...
Honorable CS, the question by Honorable Mugatana was, do you have different policies for different areas on matters compensation?
Thank you. I don't believe we have different policies because we are all mandated to go through the National Land Commission on matters payment of compensation, land compensation. There was the question by Honorable Onyonka on we have had issues in different projects whereby even the people, the PAPs have passed on. And this has been a legacy challenge that has been ongoing in government. In the ministry, in case there is the person to be compensated has passed on, their next of kin is considered by the National Land Commission for compensation. That is the status as it is. And there was a question on why do we have legacy compensation issues? And apparently, I found that ongoing in the ministry. But right now, going forward, when we do projects, especially by the government of Kenya, and also development partners, the development partners, as the situation is, focuses on developing the infrastructure. So we don't mostly get funding for PAPs or land compensation. However, the government of Kenya is responsible for payment of these compensation charges that are required, especially when new projects are commencing. And now we are developing a criteria that going forward, we ensure that we sort out land issues to avoid further delays in the process, and this does not become a historical challenge. Thank you, Speaker. I submit.
We now move to question number 9. The Honorable Senator from Makueni County, you may proceed to ask your question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, could the Cabinet Secretary provide an update on the status of the construction of Thwake Dam in Makueni County and explain why the construction works have stalled? And B, what measures has the government put in place to ensure the timely completion of the dam? And could the Cabinet Secretary give the timeline? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable CS, you may proceed.
Honorable Speaker, thank you. The questions by Honorable Manzo. Honorable Speaker, the first question was, could the Cabinet Secretary provide an update on the status of the construction of Thwake Dam in Makueni County and explain why construction works have stalled? Honorable Speaker, the construction of the 80.5 meter high Thwake multipurpose dam with a capacity of 688 million meter cubic storage capacity is ongoing with civil works on dam construction at 94.2% completion level. The project has not stalled, but has had reduced rates of works. The stage at which the dam does not require the use of a lot of heavy machinery and equipment. The embankment dam filling, which is the key component of the dam, is recorded at 99%, achieving the required levels of elevation of 916 meters above sea level, being the last layer placed on 18th of June 2024. The spillway physical progress stands at around 94%. The upstream and downstream coffer dams have been completed and are actually operational, and the 2 diversion tunnels of 12-meter diameter and approximately 740 meter long each are also completed and working. This being a rock-fill dam structure, a period of 6 to 9 months was required from the last placement of the final layer on 18th June 2024 to allow the dam embankment to settle and stabilize before the concrete face slab works are carried out as recommended by the World Dam Safety Panel of Experts, which was achieved at the end of January 2025. The remaining works are on the concrete face slab placement, that is the plaster, the spillway bridge, and the hydromechanical equipment installation. Honorable Speaker, the construction period was expected to end on 7th of December 2024, and the anticipated completion date of the dam could not be realized because of the following reasons. One, there were delays in work progress because of an increase in the dam height from 77.5 meters to 80.5 meters to increase storage capacity. Two, there were weak foundations at the dam at the riverbed, which was discovered during construction, necessitating excessive excavation and special treatment that took quite a while. And number three, the global pandemic and the war at Ukraine that resulted in scaling down of labor force due to lack of explosives. And when I talk of explosives, Honorable Speaker, I'm talking about ammonium nitrates in the country during the period in the year 2020 to the year 2023. The country imports these explosives, some iron and steel products from Ukraine. During this period, the available explosives were between 150 to 200 tons per month against a demand of 600 to 700 tons per month. In addition, during the pandemic, ammonia nitrates used to produce explosives were directed to the production of oxygen to support the fight against the pandemic. And we have letters written to the Principal Secretary in the Ministry of Petroleum and Mining to intervene and support the contractor to acquire these key supplies that were required at foundation level. Honorable Speaker, adequate time required to allow the dam embankment to settle before the concrete face slab, which is the remaining component, is done, has greatly reduced the rate of works. And this is because hauling of material from the quarry sites to the dam embankment has been completed. At the peak, just to give a perspective of the construction, the contractor deployed around 77 trucks, 21 rigs, and 31 excavators, which made the site very active and very busy. The part two of the question, Honorable Speaker, was what has the government put in place? What measures has the government put in place to ensure the timely completion of the dam? And could the Cabinet Secretary give the timelines? Honorable Speaker, the remaining dam construction works are on the concrete face slab placement, the spillway bridge, and the hydromechanical equipment installation. These works were due to commence once the dam embankment settlement rate, and the rate is 5 millimeters per month and below, is achieved as advised and adopted by the panel of experts. The ministry is undertaking the following measures to ensure timely completion of the project. One, the ministry and the dam supervision consultant, in consultation with the World Dam Safety Panel of Experts, has been monitoring the settlement level of embankment for a period of 9 months from July 2024 until the attainment of the recommended rate. And two, as at 30th January 2025, all settlement recordings for the critical sections of the dam embankment had reduced to below the recommended 5 millimeter per month threshold and stabilized, ready to commence face slab construction. The ministry wrote to the contractor via the letter indicated on February 20th, 2025 to immediately commence the execution of the remaining works, which is on the concrete face slab placement. The government, through the National Treasury, has written to the African Development Bank to avail adequate resources for the completion of the dam. the bank has commenced a routine contract appraisal to determine resources required for the completion of the dam, and the bank approval is expected in April 2025, and this will be effective by May 2025. In this regard, the project will be completed and as planned, and the first impoundment is expected to happen by the short rains in December 2025. The contractor is under clear instructions to ensure remaining dam construction works are completed by 30th October 2025. And finally, the contractor has submitted a revised program of works to adhere to the same, and the revised program of works is being evaluated. Honorable Speaker, further, the government has ensured there is adequate supplementary 2 budget and mobilized the required teams, that is the consultant, the dam safety panel of experts, the PIT, that is the project implementation team, for supervising the works and guiding in the overall operation of the construction management. Additional financing to finish through additional financing request, as explained above, has also been made. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, I submit and thank you.
Honorable Manzo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I want to say that this morning I've received a document which has a very detailed presentation. Though to me it looks very scientific in nature, I believe it goes on to explain the scientific mechanisms of part of what I had asked. Mr. Speaker, however, I want to ask 2 supplementary questions, with your permission. That I am aware that there is ADB funding in this dam and also the government funding in the same dam. What was the percentage of each, and whether the government of Kenya has met its part of bargain? And secondly, and the last one, similarly, there were people who are not compensated in this dam, and those were the ones who had succession cases or any pending cases in court. I'm aware all of them have been completed. Could the minister explain when they will complete compensating these particular individuals, since there seems to be delay, and following the matter of the National Land Commission, they have not been very cooperative, and maybe the minister could be able to explain if possible. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Kathuri.
Honorable Speaker, I appreciate the answers or the response from the CS Water on Dwake Dam. But, Honorable Speaker, we are constrained also to ask other questions also touching on other dams in the Republic. Mr. Speaker, you know the ministry is all the time saying they have no budget. As a House, we would like to know the dams that are ongoing, others that are proposed, what magnitude of money that we need to push so that all these dams across the country, we have irrigation projects, some are stoned, we have so many in our counties. So what type of budget does the ministry need so that they can be able to jumpstart all these projects, so that, Mr. Speaker, if every senator talks about his county here, you'll be surprised that many projects are stoned, others are proposed and have not started. So we are constrained even to ask questions, because I don't know much about one particular Dwake Dam, where Senator Manzo comes from. But, Mr. Speaker, if the ministry at some point, through the respective committee, can give us what indicative figures they need, so that as the Senate, we can be able to put also our voice, so that, Mr. Speaker, we can really bankroll all these projects that are lying across the country, Mr. Speaker. So mine is not a supplementary question, but a comment to the ministry, so that at least we can know what we are looking for, especially on the budget, sir. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Bwana Speaker. Swali langu kwa waziri, leo anajibu maswali vizuri. Ni mambo ya damu kama vile Mheshimiwa Kadhuri amesema. Ningeomba ruhusa unikubalie niweze kuuliza mambo ya damu ya Embu kwa sababu haiko supplementary, lakini ningeomba tu nipe ruhusa niweze kumuuliza hiyo maswali ya damu za Embu. Na moja huko katika Embu County kuna damu inaitwa Thambana damu ambaye tunajua kama waziri watajenga inaweza kusaidia upande wa Manyata na Mbere South, inaitwa Thambana damu. Na pia Kamomo damu kama mnaweza kujenga inaweza kusaidia Mbere North. Na pia kuna damu nyingine inaitwa Those, kama mtajenga inaweza kusaidia Runyenje sub county na pia Tharaka Nithi county. Kwa hiyo bwana waziri, hiyo ni maswali yangu. Na pia kuna manji ambaye ilikuwa inatengenezwa kutoka Mbeti South na
Senator Mundege. Certainly that's not a supplementary question. You may interact with CS after he's done his formal interaction with the House. Given you latitude so that I see how I can attach it to the primary question, but I'm unable to do that. So after the CS is done with the formal session, you can have a word with him. Alternatively, you can seek a statement or pose a question for him to come to the House. Senator Wambua.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, once more. As I indicated last time, Dwake Dam straddles across Makueni and Kitui counties. Mr. Speaker, I would have expected the CS to begin actually by apologizing for attempting to mislead the House and the country on the status of this dam. But that be as it may be, Mr. Speaker, my question is on the initial cost of the dam. He says that the height was adjusted from 77.8 to 80.5. And then in the process of construction, they realized that there was a weak foundation on the dam, which needed deeper excavation. As this resulted in variations on the cost of the project, and if yes, what is the variation and what is the government doing about that? I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable CS, you may now proceed to respond.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. The first question by Honorable Manzo was what was the component, bearing in mind that the dam is funded by the government of Kenya and also the African Development Bank. The government of Kenya has funded the project by 6.782 billion, and the African Development Bank is meant to fund the project to a tune of 35.583 billion Kenya shillings. The issue of compensation again for the remaining PAPs, Honorable Speaker, to the Honorable Dan Manzo, is that there are two families yet to be compensated, and this was because of a land succession dispute in the family. And these cases are ongoing, but the money for their compensation is with the National Land Commission. So once there is agreement, the two families will be duly compensated. Yes, there is the concern by Honorable Senator Kadhuri on the status of all projects, dam projects. If the Speaker allows, we can have a list of all dams ongoing and the amount of money required. And thank you for the gesture, because we actually need resources for us to complete those dams. The question by Honorable Mdigi from Embu. Honorable Senator, through the Speaker, you are welcome to the ministry for us to have an engagement to give you the actual status of those 3 dams you have highlighted. And then there is the question by Honorable Wambua. Honorable Speaker, yes, there was 2 challenges because of the raise in embankment, and also there was the challenge of a weak foundation at the river bed, and this resulted to cost implications, generally as it is in engineering projects, and the cost of increase in height. And just to put it in perspective, whenever there is an height increase, there is more impoundment of water, because now the dam, the wall can retain more water. And also that has a cost implication in the increase of height, and the expanded dam now footprint was to a tune of around 2.4 billion. And then there was a question on the weak rock at the riverbed, and this required removal and treatment of the weak rock. That had a cost of 432 million, and that is clarified. Thank you, Speaker. I submit.
Yes, Senator Enoch. The question by Senator Enoch was on the depth, the original depth of this particular dam, which was later varied. Did that come with additional costs, and therefore was there a variation of the contract to accommodate that? That was the question.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. And yes, because of the increase in height, there is a cost implication for us to have more impoundment based on the surface runoff from the other catchment. And the cost implication is 2.4 billion Kenya shillings, and this was done in the year 2017.
So, Mr. Speaker, arising from that response, then my concern, and I believe this will be the concern of the public, is on those 2 components, Mr. Speaker, on the issue of the height and the weak foundation. I'm very sure there is money that must have been paid by government to do feasibility study on this project. And the issue of how deep to excavate must be part of that costing. So who is bearing the cost of that deeper excavation? Is it the government component, or is it that now we are going to ask the ADB to give us a bigger loan to do this project? The Speaker, the variation on this dam, in my own estimation, the Speaker, is talking about 2.4 billion just for the height, and another 432 million for the deeper excavation. Who is bearing that cost?
Honorable CS and Senator Wambua, I will allow you to get away with this. You are only allowed to ask 1 supplementary question. But due to public interest principles, I'll allow the Honorable CS to proceed to respond. Proceed.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. And to give a perspective of the question and clarity, is that whenever there is a variation in this project, we have to seek concurrence from Africa Development Bank. I'm informed that when this happened, concurrence was sought from Africa Development Bank, and they gave a no objection. And when you raise the dam from 77.5 to 80.5 meters, you retain more, which is the purpose of the dam, water harvesting from our catchment. And yes, whenever there is such a change, there is a cost implication, and that concurrence is always sought from the bank that does usual and routine contract appraisals and gives no objections. I submit.
Lastly, Senator Omtata.
Mr. Speaker, thank you. The Honorable CS has referred to an IDB loan. I would like to know whether that loan is an A in A, an appropriation in aid, or whether money was given directly to the government of Kenya and it was put in the consolidated fund and is being supervised by the control of budget. And if it's an A in A, what is the justification of a bank getting into an A in A arrangement for financing the Twake Dam? That's my question, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Honorable CS, you may proceed to respond.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and thank you, Honorable Mtata. Yes, the loan from Africa Development Bank is a concessional loan in form of A&A, whereby the money certificates are paid by the bank, not by the ministry, upon approval. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable CS. We will now move to question number 024. Honorable CS, you are free to leave.
Thank you, Speaker, and thank you, honorable members. I appreciate it.
Senator Omtata, we have released the Honorable CS. Absolutely, Honorable Omtata, please. Honorable CS, welcome to the Senate. You're here for purposes of responding to question number 024 by the Senator for Kisumu County, the Honorable Professor Tomojenda. I'm informed that Senator for Nairobi, you're holding brief for the Senator for Kisumu County. You may therefore proceed to ask the question on his behalf.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. The Senator for Kisumu assures me that he's